Claire had always believed she was built for undercover work. She had trained her whole adult life to step into shadows, wear a new name, and slip into someone else's world without leaving a trace. The FBI had noticed her gift early. Memory like steel, nerves of stone. A way of reading people that made her invaluable. But no one had warned her about Marco. Her assignment was simple in theory. The Bureau had tracked the Moretti crime family for years. The old Don had died, leaving his 30-something son, Marco, in charge. Claire's job: infiltrate, earn his trust, and gather enough evidence to dismantle the organization. She expected ruthlessness, violence, the things her files described. What she found instead was quieter. The first night she walked into his bar, she saw laughter, music, and a man who carried authority not with menace, but calm. Marco noticed her quickly. "Don't think I've seen you here before," he said. New in town, she lied with her cover identity's practiced smile. "This isn't the kind of place people stumble into." "Maybe I wasn't stumbling." He smiled faintly. That was the beginning. Over weeks, she sank deeper into his orbit. His crew respected him not out of fear, but loyalty. He wasn't reckless with violence. Once, when rivals confronted his men, she expected chaos. Marco kept them calm until blows were thrown, then ended it swiftly, nothing more. She drifted closer to him. First casual, smoke breaks, small talk, late-night drinks. He asked about her past, and she gave him her carefully built story. He shared more than she expected. The weight of inheriting power after his father's death, the burden of protecting people who relied on him, his attempts to steer parts of the family business into something legitimate. He didn't feel like a monster. He felt like a man wearing chains he hadn't chosen. That was when Claire realized she was in trouble. Love wasn't supposed to happen. It was the first rule drilled into every undercover agent. Don't get attached. But rules don't stop hearts. With Marco, love arrived quietly. The night she cut her hand, he cleaned the wound himself, steady and gentle. The night surveillance rattled him, he let her hold him in silence. He teased her, listened to her, kissed her like she was the only honest thing in his world. She reminded herself of her mission. She still passed names and details to her handler. But each report felt like betrayal. The Marco she knew wasn't the crime lord in her files. He was the man who whispered about wanting children someday, who laughed when she beat him at cards, who looked at her like she was his future. And she loved him. Against training, against logic, she loved him. The guilt hollowed her out. Every coded message to the Bureau felt heavier. She was living two lives, and both were tearing her apart. One night, over wine on his balcony, she broke. "Marco, I have to tell you something." His gaze sharpened. "What is it?" Her throat burned. "I'm not who you think I am. I'm FBI. Undercover. I was sent here to learn everything, to bring you down." She braced for fury, for violence. Instead, Marco sat very still, as if confirming something. Finally, he said, "I know." Her breath caught. "You know?" "I found out months ago." She stared. "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because if I did, you'd be gone." His voice was quiet. "I didn't want to lose you. I don't care who you are. I care about what we are. If you'll have me, I'll walk away from all of this. Tonight. Just us."
Her tears fell. She didn't need to think. Yes.
"Let's go." That night they left. Claire packed light. Marco made a few calls, then walked out without looking back. They drove until the city lights were only aglow in the distance. By morning, they were on a plane, bound for a country where no one knew their names. Fear should have consumed her. Instead, she felt freedom. For the first time in years, she wasn't an agent or a liar. She was simply a woman in love. They built a new life slowly. A small house by the sea. Days filled with ordinary things, grocery runs, fixing leaks, cooking meals she'd never tried before. Marco found honest work. They laughed more, touched more, lived as if the world had never tried to claim them. But heartbreak lived quietly in her still. At night, she dreamed of the Bureau, of the oath she had broken. She carried guilt like a scar. And yet, Each morning she woke beside Marco, his arm heavy around her waist, his breathing steady. She remembered why she chose this. Why she chose him. Love had cost her everything she thought she was. But it had given her everything she didn't know she needed. And that, she decided, was worth it.